Sometimes giving a friend a gift card for their birthday just feels like it's not enough. It feels thoughtless and like minimum effort has been put into it. So what else can we do to show that we care? The signature of birthdays is cakes, but if you don't know how to decorate a cake, it may come out messy and not so appealing. When I was young, I took multiple classes in cake decorating, and ever since the pandemic began, I've been practicing my skills. I'm going to be comparing different types of frosting to see which is the best one to use. There are many different types of frosting, and each one has different uses. Buttercream frosting is the most common type of frosting. An ICCA stock pot describes it as softer and more spreadable than most icings, and is the preferred choice for taste and flexibility. It's very sweet as well as thick and creamy, so it's good for piping. Piping means frosting onto a cake. It goes well with almost any cake flavor, and it does not require many tools. Cream cheese frosting is another type of frosting that Web Straunt describes as best known for its tangy flavor. It's smooth and creamy and is also good for piping. It's usually paired with moist cakes such as carrot and red velvet cake. Whipped cream frosting is a type of frosting that has a mild flavor and collapses pretty easily. It's very light and airy. It's a good topping on a cake, but doesn't really keep its shape, so it's not good for decorating. The type of frosting we'll be using is buttercream, since it can be paired with almost any type of cake and has the right texture that can create beautiful designs. Now I'm going to show you how easy making frosting is at home. Buttercream frosting requires a few ingredients and some simple steps. So for the ingredients, we need a half a cup of butter, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of milk, 2 cups of confectioner's sugar, and you can add food coloring if you want. Now we're going to make the frosting. First, we're going to start by creaming the butter to make it light and fluffy with a hand mixer. Then we gradually add in the confectioner's sugar until it's all in there. Now we add in the vanilla extract. Then we add in the milk, and we keep mixing it for a few more minutes. With these simple ingredients and tools, we'll be able to create any type of designs with this frosting. Now let's look at what we need to prep the icing bag. Decorating a cake requires some specific items and steps to prep the icing bag. You need some icing bags, icing tips, a spoon to put the icing into the bags, and scissors to cut a hole at the tip of the icing bag to put the tips in. Now we're going to prep the icing bag. We're going to start by cutting the tip of the icing bag, putting the coupler into the tip of the icing bag. This coupler allows us to put these smaller tips onto the icing bag and then using this to screw them on. If you don't have a coupler, or if you have bigger tips like these, then you could put it directly into the icing bag. Then we'll use the spoon to scoop icing into the icing bag and squeezing into the tip. Knowing how to properly prep the bag makes the process of decorating much easier. So now let's move on to the fun part. Now we're going to start icing. We're going to be using the medium star tip to create a shell border. Wilton explains that while doing this border, we should start the new tail on top of the previous tail. So we're going to be putting pressure on the tip and then releasing quickly against the surface. We're going to be using the same tip for this next border. We're going to start at a 45-degree angle, press, and spin around. We're going to be using our star tip again, and this time at a 90-degree angle, we'll be pushing down onto the surface, pressing out of the icing bag, and then pulling up quickly to create a star. Then to create a flower, we can press down onto the surface and twist while we push and pull up as well. We can also do this with a smaller star tip at a 90-degree angle, pushing down onto the surface, pressing and pulling up quickly. We can also do this with the same turned flower. Using a large star tip, we can also create a rose. So starting at 90 degrees and then turning the tip to the side and spinning the cupcake around to create a rose. Now we're going to be using this specialty tip to create a grass type of look. We're going to press up against the board at a 90-degree angle and then let go quickly to give it that grass-y look. Once we use this grass technique and you put a ton of them together, you'll get it to look like this, like a field of grass. Using just one tip can create so many designs. Now you know the best type of icing to use depending on your goal and how simple creating icing, prepping the icing bag, and decorating really is. The time and effort it takes to decorate proves to your friends and family how much you truly care. You can see how simple it is, so why not give it a try?